And we're live. Good afternoon, YouTube. Well, I think it's afternoon. Is it afternoon? I haven't got a clue. Hang on a minute, I'll soon find out. Mum, is it morning or afternoon?
Now?
Yeah.
It's 12:30, love, afternoon.
There we go. It's afternoon. Good afternoon, YouTube. How are we today? So, another bright and sunny day in Cheshire. It was absolutely overcast and miserable this morning. I don't know whether you can hear it. The birds are out singing. It's another beautiful, beautiful day. And we've got here, let me show you. We've got 2007 Citroen Relay 2.24 HU engine. Hi Alex, hi Craig. And it's a crank, no start. Now, I'll be honest with you. It's I've induced this fault because I've been asked to do a bit of relay testing and stuff like that. Morning Simon, afternoon, evening. Practical, how are we? Yeah, I have induced this fault, so I know what's wrong with it, but this shouldn't stop you from doing your diagnosis. Okay, so we've got, using the RT Mini, we've pulled the codes. Ignore the pressure switch one, ignore the EGR code and the glow plugs, we've already looked at them. Hey up Ash, hey up Simon. The one we're interested in is there, it's P0230 fuel pump relay control, permanent fault. Hey Stephen, how's Australia mate? Must be nearly dinner time for you. Yeah, fuel pump relay control. So that's the thing we're interested in today. Now let me just move this out the way. That's the RT Mini finished. What we've got here, we've got a wiring diagram courtesy of Hella HGS. I'm using this with their permission because it's vehicle specific and we're using it as a teaching aid. So what we can see up here at the top, we've got our engine bay fuse box. Here we've got our fuel pump relay. Hi Alan. We've got the fuse that feeds the fuel pump relay, and that comes round. Yep, then it comes into the fuse box inside cabin for some reason. So out of the fuel pump relay, through the fuse box inside the cabin, down the line to the fuel pump to ground. Okay, dead simple circuit. That's the supply for the fuel pump. That's the thing that makes the fuel pump spin. This circuit here, from terminal 30 to terminal 87. Okay, then we've got our control side of the relay, terminals 85 and 86. Yeah, the power for the fuel pump comes from the engine ECU up through terminal 85 and then around, hey up Ray, through the inertia switch, which this vehicle hasn't got, I don't think, and then to ground. So basically, when the vehicle wants the fuel pump to run, the engine ECU provides the power up this wire through 85, out of 86 and down to ground. And the power for the fuel pump itself through fuse 21, through terminal 30, out of 87, through the loop and then down to the fuel pump to ground. So it's two halves of a control system. Okay, so this vehicle won't start now, but what I can do is, if I show you here in the fuse box. So this is the front passenger side of the fuse box. We've got here the 15 amp fuse 21 is the fuel pump fuse, and the relay there, the black relay behind it, is the fuel pump relay. Okay, so that's the layout on the fuse box. So the blue fuse, fuse 21, and then the black relay directly above it is the fuel pump relay. So there we go, blue fuse there, fuse 21, and K49 is your fuel pump relay. So what we can do straight away, we've got our test light. Sorry for the shakiness, my gimbal is still in the Netherlands. 5 days later, it is still in the Netherlands. So we've got our test light to battery negative. We test our test equipment. There we can see it lights up. Now this fuse here, we can see one side is dead and the other side is live. Okay, so we've got a blown fuse. Now what we have to ascertain is why has that fuse blown. Okay, right, that fuse there. So coming in, this side here is live and this side here is dead. So we won't have any power at terminal 30 coming out of 87 round and down to the fuel pump. Thanks Mukhtar. Salah, wiring. What wiring diagram is this, mate? It's Hella HGS. There's a link in the video description. Hi Ian. Right, so we've got a blown fuse. So why is the fuse blown? Is there a short in the wiring? Is there a fuse box fault, or have we got a problem with the fuel pump itself? A restricted fuel filter, which would increase pump current and blow the fuse. A faulty fuel pump itself. Hi Janice. There's lots of different reasons, so we need to do some investigation. And to set that up, I'll show you what we're going to do. It's very easy. We've got here the Blue Point EECT 60660 Deluxe Relay Test Kit. Other test kits are available. This is just the overpriced snap-on one. Inside the test kit, we've got adapters like this. This is for a 5-pin relay. And what we do, we pull the relay out and then we put this in place and then put the relay on top of it. And here we've got these pins on the side, give us access to test the relay. Okay, so it's as simple as that. So we can use this one. Here's the one for the 4-pin relay. Okay, so you can see I've put some pigtails on ready in preparation. What we're going to do, we're going to pull the relay. You also get these really good relay pulling pliers in the kit. I think Lyle do a kit as well. So we're just going to pull that relay out. Should we use my other hand? Oh, you can see this. Just gently does it. What we don't want to do is put holes in the side of the relay. Yeah, the Lyle kit's half the price. So we can see on the bottom of the relay, we can actually, if it'll focus, we can see the numbers. So 30 being the one you can see on your left, the big terminal on your left, then 87, the big terminal in the middle, then 85 and 86. And you can see the only difference between a 4-pin relay and a 5-pin relay is the 5th pin has been cut off it. It's no longer there. So we can get that. We put it inside our test, our jumper, our relay jumper. It fits in just like that. And then we can put this in place. Alright, so all we're going to do, so on this now, the blue one is 85, the yellow one is 86, and the green one is 87. So we can have a look at each of these when we turn them on. So this is 85. This is relay command from the engine ECU. I'll just rig my test light up so that it'll stay in one place. That's relay command from the engine ECU. I'll turn the key on and we'll see if that lights up. Let me see if I can prop you up. Let me see if I can prop you up somehow. Let me see if I can prop you up. Okay, so that's propped up. So I'll turn the key on. You can see the command from the ECU is present. And then it turns off, and it should turn back on again in a minute. There you go, it's turned back on. So it's a dual stage, it's initial prime and then trying to maintain pressure. Okay, but on the other side of them, we've got nothing. So obviously no output from the relay. We'll try that again. There you go, you just did the relay click on again and it didn't light up. Okay, so no output from the relay because we've got a blown fuse. Turn the ignition off. What we can do now, very easily, we can swap that fuse out there. Get me pliers. I'm sorry about all this moving about. Like I say, I'm still waiting for my gimbal to come. Get me pliers. We pull that 15 amp fuse out, and you can see it's quite clearly blown. Okay, and you can see that obviously I've made this, but that fuse blow, that's significant, and that indicates that it's been a high draw very quickly. And what we can do now, these are the proper fuse buddies, so we can put that in place of the fuse. Put our fuse in there, and then we can look at voltage off this side, or we can put a current clamp around it and monitor current on here. But if you haven't got one of these, you'll have one of these in your cupboard, and all that is an inline fuse holder with a couple of little terminals on the end of it. A little homemade one that I made. So I can put that in place of the fuse. If I can get my little fat hands in there. So that's now in place of the fuse, and I've got a loop there now that I can put my current clamp around. Okay, and then I've got 1, 2, 3 handy pickups to measure whatever I want with the scope. Okay, so going over onto the Pico. Any scope will do it. This is the 0425A, the new scope from Pico. All singing, all dancing with the BNC Plus. And I've got 1, 2, 3 normal voltage leads, and channel D is the TA473 current clamp. No batteries required, it's powered up straight off the BNC Plus. So what we're actually doing now is we're going to monitor on channel A. We're going to monitor 87 for voltage, and also we're going to literally put a current clamp across the fuse loop, which will tell us how much current the the pump itself is drawing. Okay, so to start that up, we go down to the bottom, start up P0230. It's detecting the scope. It's loading my default settings up. Okay, and that's it, it's ready to go. Now, if the power was on, these channels, every time it gets to the end of the screen, the channels will auto range. You can see now it's just brought in the other 3 channels because it's detected there's a probe present. And now it's trying to auto range to see, you know, to see if there's any voltage on those lines. But what we're going to do, we're going to quickly set those up. Okay, so channel A, I want it manual, and I want it on a 20 volt scale. Channel B, manual, 20 volt scale. Channel C, manual, 20 volt scale. Channel D, manual, and I want it on a 20 amp range. Okay, that'll do. So that's my scope set up. Yeah, if I don't want to, I don't need to do anything else. But what I also want to do is I want to capture the whole cycle on one screen. So I'm going to increase my time base here. Yeah, and I want it on 100 seconds sweep time. So it takes 100 seconds to get from there across to there. And I also want to put a trigger on. So I'll put a trigger on, a single trigger on channel A. Yeah, a rising trigger. Channel A, single trigger, channel A, rising trigger. Okay, and you can see that there, that's my yellow dot there, and all I'm going to do is drag my yellow dot over here. Okay, so my scope, oh sorry, we're having trouble with focus. So all I've done, I've dragged my yellow dot over there now, and once it hits 8 volts, it will actually start to capture. So my channels, again, blue is 85, connected. Red onto there is 86. Forgive me, I'm doing this one-handed. I really wish I had a tripod. I left me Joby in America. And then we've got the other channel, the green channel, wherever that's gone, on the floor here. That's going to go on to 87. Yeah. And then I'm going to put my clamp on. You can guarantee if I put it on this way, the waveform will be inverted. So what I should do is put it on and flick it over. Yep, so that's it, that's my current clamp on. So now we've got everything. We've got 85, 86, 87 voltage and current. The scope's set up, ready to go. So all I'm going to do is turn the key on. You can see it started capturing the minute the command from the ECU was sent, which is the blue channel. The gold is the current, the green is the voltage coming out, and there we go, we can see it's turned on again. So it's an initial prime, a wait, and then a second prime. We can actually hear the fuel now. And there we go, and that's it, and that's off. So what we can now do is we can actually have a look and we can analyse that waveform to see what's going on. So that's the key off. We'll just wait for the scope to finish its run. Hope you're finding this interesting. Seem to have dropped a few comments. Right, there we go. You see the scope has now stopped. Yeah, because we only had it set on a single trigger. And what we can do, we can actually zoom in. So let's zoom in on this portion here. So we go across to the zoom button. Click on that. Let's just move it up here so we can see what we're looking at. And we can see we've got the windowed zoom, and all I'm going to do is grab that window there. And for now, I just want to have a look. We can separate them. There it is. There's my views button. You have to excuse me. I'm still learning this software. So go on to views. Just turn A and C off. And what we can see there, and even if we turn D off, okay. So there's my ECU telling me fuel pump to turn on, and the minute that blue goes volts high, I get my current, my fuel pump's running, and then I can also see I've got an output voltage as well. Yeah, so there's my output voltage coming out the other side, and it's a loaded circuit because obviously my fuel pump's running and it's consuming current. So what I can do is on the right hand side I drag my green ruler down and I look at my output voltage. Blue ruler down, that should be the same. And you can actually see there my ECU control is actually less than the output voltage. And why is that? Why is my output voltage on my fuel pump output, why is it higher than the ECU control? Where's that 0.12 of a volt disappeared? The answer to that is that 0.12 of a volt, it's the blue line is just an output from the engine ECU, whereas the green is coming straight from a fuse, and all it's doing is going through a set of relay contacts. So it's coming straight from the battery, and this is on battery support at the minute. We can also look at how much current our pump is drawing. So we can drop a ruler down, and we can see the maximum there just by dropping a ruler down is 14.48 amps. We can do a measurement of that if we want. Over on the left hand side, measurements, channel D, maximum, and that gives us the true peak, which is actually 16.37 amps. Okay, so the Pico software will tell us what it is, and then if we just want to drag that ruler down to the middle of it, you can see on average it's pulling 4.36 amps. So on a 15 amp circuit, about a third, something like that. Our peak current is on the fuse rating, or just below the fuse rating, and our average current while the pump is running normally is about a third. What we can also do, we can zoom in further than that, and we can actually see the waveform. We get each of these peaks and troughs here is a segment, is current flowing through a segment on the fuel pump. So it doesn't look too bad, that it looks fairly uniform. So I just heard somebody clapping, which means there's got to be some sausage sandwiches on the way. Mother, have we got any sausage sandwiches? Oh, we got two crazy dogs. Look at this. There's two crazy dogs. And what are you two looking at? What are you two looking at? Oh, look at this. We've got coffee. And sausage sandwiches with red sauce and pepper. Do they look nice, Cass? Hey, do they look nice? What do you think, Chaos? So, I'm going to eat my sausage sandwiches. I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, give us a thumbs down and tell us why. And look forward to more videos later today when I break my van again. Thanks for watching. You're awesome.